An important cosmological consequence is that the Big Bang theory, where the universe is traced back to one point by looking at the past, is a misconception. The traditional assumption of space-time, where space is three-dimensional and time plays the role of a fourth dimension, is inaccurate. If we would want to study the origin of the universe, we would actually have to look forward, since C-now's time vector direction is opposite to the arrow of distance, from which we perceive an expanding universe. Although this temporal mapping of the universe will only yield abstract concepts with no relation to its quantum underpinnings, experimental evidence includes the accelerating expanding universe following what is known to be an inverse or time-reversed black hole metric, as well as the many problems related to the Big Bang theory, such as the horizon problem. When Charles Darwin created his hypothesis of evolution in 1859, he was admittedly high on opium and trying to, quote, kill God, end quote. His book, The Origin of Species, proved fertile ground for the status quo's belief that they were superior and that other lesser classes and castes were inferior dust, worms that had no origin, no rights, no life, no soul, no conscience, and no future. Bacteria, slime, worms.
Unfortunately, the origin of the cell remains a question that is actually the murkiest aspect of the whole theory of evolution.
In order to do the work that I do and to address this issue in general, genetics isn't enough. It can't stand up on its own. We need different disciplines to work on this together to give us the full picture. We use paleontologists are involved in this topic as well. They study fossils to infer the morphological changes that have occurred over evolutionary time. Archaeologists who study material culture, stones, stone tool kits, to trace the history of our species, to infer the behavioral changes that have occurred through time. And then, of course, genetics, the area that I'm involved in, using both protein work and DNA work to infer our genealogical history.
FOXP2 is a gene that was found in our nucleotides, and it is something that sets us completely apart from any other animal. And scientists have suggested that that gene alone is responsible for language. And there is absolutely no evidence of origin, or that this thing somehow mutated from the animal kingdom towards us. So this gene exists out of nowhere, without any origin. So my question is it possible that this gene was given to us or grafted into us?
Evolution. How did it happen? What was the process? What clues has it left us as to our origins? And is it even true? Today, we're going to look at the theory of evolution. Simply put, evolution proposes that human beings evolved from the ocean to higher and more complex beings through a process of time.
Darwin speculated that over time, hominids walking on 2 feet used their hands to make tools. This in turn made them smarter. Then, approximately 200,000 years ago, hominids evolved into Homo sapiens, or modern man. But many scholars dispute Darwin's findings.
We don't see dolphins building cars. We don't see elephants building houses. That might sound trite, but it's a fact that these animals just simply haven't progressed and advanced in the way we have. And the big question is, why is that? Why should that happen? Why should we be so unique?
Tool use doesn't really come into play for several million years after the first earliest humans began to walk upright. And then brain size doesn't really begin to expand and really mushroom in size until the last several 100,000 years. So actually, 6 million years of human evolution, there are millions of years separating each of those major features: upright posture, tool use, brain expansion. So Darwin was wrong because he couldn't possibly have known the chronology in his day.
So we're faced with two worldviews. One starts in the beginning with mass energy, the particles, and everything is derivative, including information. The other says the exact opposite, says the exact opposite, says the exact opposite, says the exact opposite. So in the first worldview, mass energy is primary and mind is derivative. In the other worldview, mind is primary and mass energy is derivative, is derivative, is derivative, is derivative. And so far as tonight's lecture is concerned, it is the diametrical opposition between the worldview of materialism and the worldview of theism. It is a conflict between these two worldviews, but I want you to notice there are scientists on each side of it.
How does matter become mind? It doesn't. Mind must bring forth matter. You see, matter has never brought forth consciousness or rationality or mind.
Can matter organize itself? No. Today there is no circumstance known under which one could affirm that microscopic beings have come into the world without parents resembling themselves.
Most cosmologists therefore agree with physicist Paul Davies when he concludes that the universe's low entropy condition was simply put in as an initial condition at the moment of creation. On the basis of these four arguments, we have good grounds for affirming the second premise of the cosmological argument, namely that the universe began to exist. From the two premises, it follows logically that the universe has a cause.
This long and protracted formula clearly shows that inequality holds. What this essentially means is that there is always a catalyst, a necessary cause to any action. The glass has to be pushed off the table before it breaks.
The 19th century German scientist Hermann von Helmholtz found that all forms of energy are equivalent, that one form can be transformed into any other. The laws of physics say that in a closed system, such as our universe, energy is conserved. It may be converted, concentrated, or dissipated, but it's never lost.
I think that scientists find it harder in some ways than many other people, you see, and some other people, because there's still a strong commitment, even perhaps partly unconscious, to the old atomistic worldview.
So what you're saying is that science has shown us something that scientists do not want to see?
Well, they have become so used to the way of seeing it that they don't want to change it. You see, they feel uncomfortable about changing it, and they feel there's no reason to change it. Many of them, they say, well, we're doing so well now, why should we change it? In one sense, it looks as if we're doing very well, you see, but if you look at the broader view, it looks very dangerous.